Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to this Atempo webinar session. My name's Nick Crisp from the Atempo Marketing Department, and today we're here to talk about on-site data protection and discuss the advantages, benefits of continuing to protect your data, particularly your endpoint data on-prem. And with me, I'm joined by two of my esteemed colleagues from the product management team. On my left, I have Sylvie Margot, product manager for Lina, our endpoint solution. Hi, Sylvie.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
And to my right, I have Geoffrey Bitard, who is product marketing direct manager at Atempo. Hi, Geoffrey.
Hi everyone.
So, thank you all for being here today. And the session will last approximately 35 minutes. So we have a presentation where we'll look at, as I said, the advantages of on-prem protection with Geoffrey, and then he'll pass over to Sylvie to talk about some Atempo solutions that can help you in this particular area. And then we're obviously open for questions. So if you do have any questions, please do use the question tab that you'll see on the right of your screen, and we'll try and answer as many questions as we can at the end. Obviously, if you'd like to get in touch with us, you'll have our emails and so on, so we can keep in touch. So without further ado, I'll pass over to you, Geoffrey. Take it away.
Thank you, Nick, for the introduction. So today we are going to speak about on-prem backup, but not only. As IDC said, by 2025, by 50% of the backup destination will be in cloud, and 50% will be on-prem. So first, let's see the pros and cons of backup to the cloud. Cloud benefits. In recent years, we have witnessed an explosion in data volumes. Still from IDC, you know that by 2025, 165 zettabytes will be created and will be generated, and 80% of this data will be stored by companies. So this is really a big challenge for companies to know how to manage this amount of data. In addition of that, the recent massive development of home office following to the COVID-19 crisis has deeply changed the habits of companies when it comes to backing up their data. It is now mandatory for teleworkers to be able to back up the data created from home. And to address these issues, companies have migrated their backup to the cloud for some reasons. And firstly, scalability. Cloud, it's easily scalable. There is no capacity limits. Then you have no maintenance fees. It's easy to set up. It's always available. It's monthly price based, so it's easy to buy. For security reasons, also, cloud provider put everything in place to secure your data into the cloud. And last benefit, the cost. And usually the cost of storing data in the cloud is much lower than the cost of running an on-prem storage, which is the case, but only in short or medium term at least. However, as I said, by 2025, only 50% of the company will back up their data into the cloud. The rest will be on-prem. So why only 50% with so many benefits? There are as many good reasons to back up on premises as there are in the cloud. Despite all its advantages, the all cloud backup services is not the ultimate solution. First of all, the price. price is a benefit. It's also accounts. There are some hidden costs when you want to do backup to cloud. When you retrieve your data, each time you want to restore or recover your data from the cloud, you will be charged. And this is what we call the egress fees. Then the risks associated to the cloud are the same as those one for on-prem backup. I mean, you still have physical risk for backup to cloud, like fire, like service down or breakdown. You still have the logical risk and cyber risk, particularly important within those days, and the human risk also. And a thing I would like to remind you is that the cloud providers are not responsible for the integrity of your data, of the data they store, at least. The company remains the only one that will ultimately be responsible for any data loss. So this is the main reason not to back up everything into the cloud. Last cons, everyone agrees that the multiplication of backup is the only solution to be able to recover your data in case of an incident. And we talk about the 3-to-1 backup best practices. So 3 copies, and on 2 different media, and 1 copy should be offsite. If you go for cloud solution only, then you do not respect this best practice backup. I take as an example some recommendations from experts to support my speech. I'm not the only one to say that. And first of all, Gartner, in his How to Protect Backup System from Ransomware Edition 2021, they said that to optimize recovery speed in the event of an incident, you need an on-prem copy. Then, also from Gartner, the multiplication of backups is the only solution to protect from any data loss. And lastly, it warns against public cloud recovery speed limitation and data recovery cost. As I said before, the egress fees. Also, the ANSSI, the French Agency for IT Security, recently recommended backing up critical data offline in this period of extreme cyber risk. Let's jump into the on-site backup benefits now. First of all, speed and high availability. With on-premises storages, backup times are shortened, and data access is highly available. There is no bandwidth limits, which is not the case with public cloud. This availability is great for business continuity. Backing up is good but fast recovery is even better in case of an incident. And with on-site backup, production downtime is limited because recovery is then faster. And this could be crucial for some activities also. Secondly, security. Of course, in a context of cyber risk, it is important to be able to manage the level of security of your data. And on-site backup increase the level of security of your data by putting in place your security strategies. Your data, your security rules. When you know where your data is stored, then it's easier to secure it. Budget now. In mid or long term, the cost of an on-site storage is not so high, mainly because there is no restoring recovery cost, the egress fees. In the cloud, everything is fine until the day you have to restore your data, and then you have the restore fees applying. With an on-prem solution such as Lina, combined with an on-site storage, you don't have to pay each time you want to get back your data on-site. Last benefits, the compliance or legal aspect, keeping control of your data. You have to ensure the preservation and confidentiality of your data. Keep your data home to prevent any third party to get access to it. And also in some sensitive activity or verticals, it is inconceivable or even forbidden to store your data into the cloud. I think, I think about governments, army, or even some agency. It's completely forbidden to back up data into the cloud. And now I think I'm done with my part. I will give the speech to Sylvie. She's going to speak about the technical parts of our endpoint backup solution, Lina. Sylvie.
Thank you, Geoffrey. So indeed, I'm going to give you some insight about Lina. So Lina is our product dedicated to the backup of endpoints and file server. So you can back up desktop, laptop. This is what it's being designed for. And unlike most of our competitors, we did not choose to go all cloud. A lot of backup solutions are now all cloud for some of the advantages that Geoffrey pointed out. But as we also said, it's not the 100% solution for every situation. That's why we decided to offer our clients the possibility to choose between the two, either on-site or off-site, and possibly to mix a little bit of both to get the best of both worlds. So Lina can really be used in a variety of situations. So here I just wanted to give you an overview of the type of configuration you can back up with Lina. So most likely you're going to have a main site where your server is going to be installed that will allow you to back up all the laptop and desktop that are on site. You can back up Mac OS or Linux or Windows workstation. And that's for the agent part. And the server itself can be either a Windows or a Linux machine. Then if you have a remote site, you can also back them up from the same server that's going to be located on your main site. So we're going to have to implement some kind of a secured tunnel between the main site and the remote site. For instance, like a VPN to make sure that no one can intrude on your data. And also for all your roaming users, meaning people that are not located on the main site because of the nature of their job, that they have to travel a lot, or also with all the increase in home office, as Geoffrey mentioned before, or the teleworking. And those people cannot really benefit from the infrastructure of the main site, but you can still back them up on your server so that their data is safe as well. So one of our main concerns with Lina is to avoid any data loss. So for that, we have implemented a few functionality. The first one of those is the continuous data protection. So which means that you have no backup windows, first of all. You do not have to schedule your backup. Each time a file is created or modified, the system is going to detect it and arrange for all this data to be sent to the server. So it's really easy to use. You don't have to do any scheduling. It's going to be transparent for the users of the machine. Once you have installed your little Lina agent on it, then it's going to be working as a background task. So it's not going to interfere with the work that people are doing on the machine. So that's also very convenient and does not impact the productivity of your users. And also we've implemented the file versioning. This will allow you to keep a history of all the changes that happen on the file over a period of time that you will choose. It's a parameter that you can define. And this will also allow you to go back in time, as it were, to recuperate a version of a file if you made a mistake or if you had a crypto attack or something like that, you can go back in time to get the version prior to the attack. Also, in order to reduce cost, we've implemented the deduplication, which takes place on two levels. First of all, on the agent level, so that each machine, prior to sending its data to the server, is going to cut it out in little blocks, and it's going to check and not send twice the same block to the server. So that in itself is going to reduce the transfer on the network. That's very useful if you are in a low capacity network environment, for instance. And the second level is on the server side. Once the server receives all the blocks from all the different machines in the network, if it receives twice the same blocks, it's only going to store it once and just make a record that this block is used twice or 3 times and on which machine it's being used. So this way, on the server side also, you're going to limit the amount of storage needed, which will in turn reduce the cost of your storage. Also, to improve the security of your environment, we have implemented server replication, which, as you can see, can take place within the same site. So you're going to have your primary server in one room maybe and the secondary server on the same site. Or you can decide to put your secondary server at a distance. It can be hundreds of miles away from your primary server, which means if your primary server becomes unavailable, then you can reach to your secondary server to restore your file. So this is to make sure that you will be able to restore your file when you need them. Another big point for the Lina was to give user autonomy to restore their files. Because that's a very important part, since IT teams are oftentimes under the water with all the stuff that they have to do. This is one thing that they won't have to do because the users can restore their file for themselves. So to that end, we've implemented several restore methods to make sure that everybody can use at least one of them. So the first method is with a wizard. So this is especially suited for persons that are not very technically savvy. They can launch the little wizard, and through a bunch of questions, we're going to gear them toward finding the file that they want to restore. We're going to ask questions such as, do you know where your file was backed up? Or do you know when was the last time you backed up your file? Such questions, so to narrow down the place where this file could be. Secondly, you can also, and that's really very simple as well, go in your file explorer and do a right click on a file, and you will see all the versions of that file. So if you want to restore a previous version, that's a very easy way to do it. You can also do that right click on a folder. So if a file is been missing from a folder, you can use that as well to restore the content of the folder. You will be presented with all the versions available, and so you can choose which version you want to restore. Also, you can just browse and search on your file tree to select the file that you want to restore. It's a little bit like when you do shopping online. You select the item you want, you put them in a basket, And at the end, you can check the content of your basket to see if it contains all the files that you want to restore, and then launch the restore. So when you launch the restore, you will have the choice of either restoring in the original location of the files or to a different place. And so you have that choice for any type of restore you do. Whatever the method, you can always choose if you want to restore in the original location or somewhere else. And finally, you can also use the web restore. This is really useful if you don't have your machine with you, for instance. If you lost it or you are at the airport, someone stole your bag, and you absolutely need a very important file for your next meeting, you can go with any browser with a proper identification and download the content of your backup to wherever you are at the moment. So that's a very easy way also to restore files if you don't have your machine at hand. Also, you can perform cross restore. So if for instance, you are updating your fleet of laptops, they're going to all be reinstalled with new system, but you do want to get the data, people's data back. So in that case, you will just restore the data backed up on the old machine, cross restore it to the new machine. The cross restore also work for cross-platform restore. So if, let's say, you have lost a Mac machine and some files are really important to you right away, you can restore them on a Windows machine if the files are compatible, of course. So that's a very useful functionality as well. And finally, for cases where you want to rebuild the entire machine, including the operating system, you can use the bare metal restore. So this requires that at backup time, you select the option. So in the event that you want to do the bare metal restore, and then in the same backup operation, you will back up your data and all the files that are required to perform the bare metal restore. Then when you get to do the restore, we'll provide you a little bootable ISO file that can be like a USB stick to launch the rebuilding of the partition and the OS. And then you can connect to the server to restore all your data. And it's going to be in a single operation. Everything's going to be linked one thing after the other. You don't have to do one thing first and then relaunch the restore. It's going to be all in one shot. So all this to demonstrate that Lina is really taking the 3-2-1 best practice at heart. So we want to make sure that you will always have your files available should you need them, in case of any kind of incident should occur with your primary files. So you will get your production copy, the primary server copy, and the secondary server copy on two separate media. As we saw, you're going to have your primary server on one hand and the secondary server on the other hand. And finally, you can decide to separate the primary and secondary server by a couple hundred miles just to make sure that they're really safe and available. Now I'm going to return the speech to Jeffrey, who's going to discuss some success story. So some client.
Yes, thank you, Sylvie. And to illustrate our speech, I have chosen a few recent customers as an example. Sorry, it's a French customer, but we can do exactly the same with the US customers. French university, Nantes University, 5,000 students, 500 employees, and 12 laboratories. Okay. During the first COVID crisis, they realized that their current backup solution was not at all suitable for home office for teleworkers, and also that their backup server was saturated. Then they were looking for a scalable and powerful and easy, simple endpoint solution. Then we provided Lina license for their 150 workstations, and they told us that the CDP, the continuous data protection, combined with the simplicity of data restoration, this is what has made the difference. This is what those specification has made the difference. Also, still in France, still to illustrate the Lina security level, here is the label we've been awarded by the French Army, and we do have the as used by the French Army label since 2019. And today, it is more than 12,000 agents already deployed on the various entities of the French Ministry of the Armed Forces. And this is really the proof of the seriousness and the guarantee of confidentiality that of the data we protect with Lina solution. And more recently, it is the Paris city that welcomes Atempo solutions, and Lina is going to save their workstations and also their employees' laptop. So we are almost at the end of this presentation dedicated to on-site backup. To briefly summarize all the benefits we've listed today, here's a quick summary of Lina's benefits. So first of all, the data proximity accelerates recoveries. Closer the data physically is, the faster it can be accessed and restored. And this performance will limit the production downtime. And we all know that production downtime is extremely costly. Control of the budget, as I previously said, there are absolutely no cost in case of incidents with on-prem storages. For restorations, there are no egress fees. Lina is able to back up all kind of workstation, laptop, desktop, either on-site or off-site. And Lina prevents data loss from ransomware, data deletion, theft, or even breakdown, as Sylvie said before. And with CDP mode, continuous data protection mode, well configured, then it's difficult to lose any data, to lose your data. Confidentiality of preserved data, of course, and Lina is secured by design and has been developed in France following the secured by design rules. And I think I'm done. I will stop talking, and now it's time for us to reply to your questions.
Thank you very much, Geoffrey. Thank you, Sylvie, for those presentations. And maybe the one word that sticks out there is, well, performance. Obviously, you talked about that with Lina, but also security. And I have two questions, perhaps for you, Sylvie, which seem to really be of primordial importance to everybody. You mentioned the protection on-site and off-site, so by replicating between two different Lina servers. Can you explain how we make sure those connections between the two Lina servers are secure?
Okay, just want to go a little bit before that. When if you have a main site that you are backing up and your server is located in the main site, and you are trying to reach the remote site, not so much for replication, but just to back up the machines that are located in the remote site, then you are likely to use like a secure tunnel, such as a VPN, and it's the same type of connection you can have between your replicated server. and also for roaming users, so users that are on the go, that may be connecting from a public internet or something like that. We use a reverse proxy to make sure that only authorized data are coming into the backup server.
Okay. What about encryption? I guess that backed up data is encrypted.
So yes, during the transfer, when data is transferred from the agent to the server, it's going through the HTTPS connection so that it's secured. And also, once all the data is gathered on the server side, it is encrypted using the AES-256 algorithm, so that it's protected also at rest.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. I do think that, as Geoffrey mentioned, coming out of the pandemic and the actual situation right now with the geopolitical tensions that reign in the world, that protecting your data securely, having that on-prem really seems to make a lot of sense right now. And we had one comment actually in the chat just before. I don't know if you saw that, but one of our customers did say that he was working with a company competitor that went to full cloud and was glad that he stayed with Lina and was able to continue protecting his data on premises.
Sure, because as Geoffrey said, sometimes the company has no choice. They cannot go full cloud. So in that case, they need a solution, an alternate solution to that.
Absolutely. The examples that we gave, that effectively they were in France, we're a French company, a European-based software vendor. We do have facilities in the US. We have a team over there. And in other parts of Europe, if you're listening from Germany or the UK, for example, I know we have quite a few people on board today. And just to let them know that we do have local support teams who can help with any questions, whether those questions are technical or commercial. And I do have a question maybe for you, Geoffrey, on the pricing for Lina. How does that work?
Very simply, pricing is really simple. Then, first of all, Lina is available through all geo. I mean, so and then you pay a monthly subscription depending of the size of your and the number of agents you have to protect. I took the French university as example. They had 150 units of laptops to protect.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's 150 agents. Then they have to pay each month for the protection of 150 agents. But but we can protect from 1 to more than 10,000 agents. So it's depending of the agent numbers.
Okay, so there's a lot of flexibility there. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely yes.
Okay, and I kind of know the answer to this, but if you've got 100 agents and then suddenly you have another 20 laptops to protect, you need to go and buy additional agents. Is that simple or? It
is very simple. You can contact your partner or directly Atempo, and then you will have a quote for an extra 20 agents.
Okay. Great. Well, I think we've kind of run out of time there, but thanks for your questions, and big thank you to Sylvie and Geoffroy for your presentation. And I hope that made sense to you in terms of the arguments that we put forward. And if you would like to contact us, we can just put the photos there of Sylvie and Geoffrey and their emails, and I'll leave that up for a few minutes. If you have any more questions, the chat remains open, the questions tab, so do use that, and do contact Sylvie or Geoffrey if you have any technical or commercial questions, sales questions you'd like to put to us.
Okay. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you
for attending.
Thank you, Sylvie.
Thanks
you, everyone.
Thanks to you. Thanks for attending, and look forward to having you on an upcoming Atempo webinar. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.